Welcome to Notes from the New Heaven. Join me, Reverend Sage Cole, founder of the Helen Keller Spiritual Life Collaborative, each week as I share different doctrinal truths of the new church that ground my life, that inspired the life of the great Helen Keller, and that create a portal for the new life that so many of us long for. This week, Regeneration. All right, let's get into regeneration. I just took a shower, so it's a great time to talk about regeneration because water and the activity of washing is a beautiful correspondence of the journey of regeneration and spiritual growth. You, of course, probably remember in the scriptures, Jesus speaks about being born again, not of water, but of the Spirit. And the sacrament of baptism signifies this journey of regeneration, of washing, of being renewed, that life is all about, that is integral to the path of life that we all walk. So unlike some more traditional visions of this invitation to be born again, to understand this process of being born again as an ongoing process is integral to the life of the new church. Similar to some of the myths I debunked about heaven and hell last week, being born again is not something that happens in an instant and then it's done. It's not something that happens through a particular profession of faith. It's actually an ongoing, eternal process of being made new continually. And some of you may have participated in the creation series we recently did, looking at the 7 days of creation as symbolic images of the stages that we go through as we go on this journey of being born again, being made new. This is a universal process. It is something that the divine God is doing in us and through us all the time. It's something that sometimes we think we are taking part in, and certainly the history of the church in seeking to create a container for understanding this process, seeking to offer insight and wisdom to how it unfolds. Sometimes we can think that we are controlling it or choosing it, but really ultimately this is something that God is doing in us. God is growing us. And the direction that God is growing us is in this direction of heaven. The process of regeneration returns to us the truth of who we are. It returns to us the truth that we are beloved children of God, just like the first day that we were born from our mother's womb. When we are born of the Spirit, we become like children again, where we recognize the divine source of our lives, where we recognize all of the support that exists around us, and in that recognition, let go of some of the hubris of our earthly selves and become aligned with the divine, become surrendered to the divine life, become humble. Because when we recognize that we are connected to all of this divine life, we also recognize that so is everyone else. And the goal of regeneration is that recognition. And that's partly why when you get into the stages of the journey, which I'm not going to cover in this video, but feel free to go back and visit our creation journey to get more insights into that. But I will just speak to the goal. The seventh day, if you remember, the seventh day of creation is that fulfillment of regeneration. And what happens on the seventh day? Rest. The fulfillment of our regeneration journey is resting in God, recognizing that God is living in us and we can rest in that knowledge. We can trust that. We don't have to work so hard to achieve or overcome or receive that blessing. It's already there. It's already our birthright. And that's a wonderful, interesting, beautiful paradox of the spiritual journey, is that we enter it with intention, with longing, with hope. We're seeking this image of being a spiritual seeker. We're seeking insight because we know that this false illusion of separateness, we know that all of the negative voices that pound in our heads, we don't want that anymore, right? We know we want out of that. And so we look for a way out, and that's what propels us on this regenerative journey. And then we discover, the further we walk along the journey, that the answer, the blessing, was actually there all along. Underneath the noise, underneath the illusions, underneath the misconception that we are separate, and on our own. And we're reborn. And that process of being reborn, it continues on deeper and deeper and deeper levels, always in the direction of freedom, of love, of truth, of humility, but also enoughness, of abundance and fulfillment, as we rest in the wholeness of all that is. So regeneration is essential to the journey, and it's so helpful to me to know that I am here to grow, because it gives me such, clarity around the purpose of each moment, that there's no arrival, there's no moment when it's all going to be set right. It's always changing, it's always growing. And when we are faced with needing to let go of things and move beyond, as much as it can be painful and difficult, we can know that it's just part of the process, that there's more ahead. There's more being revealed, and every obstacle, every challenge, everything we face actually is helping us to strip away some of this falsity and get clearer and clearer and closer to our true selves and to divinity itself. I find that really useful. I hope you do too. And I hope it might help you to be encouraged in this particular time of so much change, so many challenges, so many experiences of what we thought was true being stripped away. But to see that too as just a part of this regeneration journey that each one of us is going on individually, and that we are going on collectively as a species at this time. So blessings on the journey of change. Thanks for tuning in. And if any of these truths particularly speak to you, I hope you'll join us this fall for some larger conversations that I want to hold, because I'd love to hear your experience with them. These truths only are true insofar as we live them, and I'm so excited to hear about your experience. Many blessings, friends.